Hey there. So let me ask you something. Does your team ever feel like you're just drowning in a sea of good ideas, but you're struggling to figure out which one to actually bet on? Yeah, making those clear, confident decisions is honestly one of the hardest parts of the job. Well, we're about to break down an incredibly simple framework that can totally change the game for you.
Oh yeah, we've all been there, right? The whiteboard is just covered with amazing concepts. The whole team is buzzing with excitement, but then reality hits. Your budget, your timeline, your team's capacity, none of that is infinite. So the real question is, how do you sift through it all and separate the genuinely brilliant ideas from the ones that just, sound good? How do you make sure you're putting your energy where it's actually going to make a difference?
Well, if that kind of chaos sounds at all familiar, I think you're really going to love this. It's called the DVF framework. And really, it's just this elegant, super powerful tool that's designed to cut right through all that noise and give you a clear, structured way to find and prioritize your best ideas.
All right, let's dive into what this actually is. Now, DVF isn't just another business acronym or some random checklist you have to tick off. It's really a method, a way of looking at any idea through three totally distinct but essential lenses. You can think of it like a three-point inspection that makes sure you're not missing some huge critical flaw. So let's break down what D, V, and F actually stand for.
Okay, first up is D, and that stands for desirability. This is the human lens, and honestly, it's the most important place to start. Because if nobody actually wants what you're making, nothing else matters, right? So you have to ask yourself, does this solve a real nagging problem for people? Is it something they'll get and even be excited to use? It's all about creating genuine value for your customers.
Next up, we've got V for viability. This is the business lens. I mean, look, an idea can be the most desirable thing in the world, but if it's going to bankrupt the company, well, it's a total non-starter. So here, you're asking the tough questions. Does this make commercial sense? Can we actually afford to do this? And maybe most importantly, does it line up with our long-term strategy and our brand? This is really where the passion has to meet the practical.
And finally, we have F for feasibility. This is your technical and operational lens. Basically, it's the reality check. So, you've got a great idea. It could even make money. But can we actually build it? Do we have the skills, the tech, the time, the people, not just to launch it, but to support it and scale it down the road? This is what grounds your big ambitions in what's really possible for you to do, like, right now.
Okay, so now you get the three lenses, right? Desirability, viability, and feasibility. That's the theory. Now let's get practical. I'm going to walk you through exactly how you can use this framework to score your own ideas with a really simple step-by-step process. Really, it just boils down to these four simple steps. First, you have to get crystal clear on the problem you're trying to solve. Then you just list out all your potential solutions. Third, and this is the real heart of the framework, you score each of those solutions against D, V, and F. And last, you just add it all up to get a total score. Simple, right? Let's see how it works in a real example. So, to make this whole thing a bit more concrete, let's imagine we're working with a local cafe. Their big problem is this. They get plenty of customers, but not enough of them are regulars, the diehards. So their main goal is to figure out how to increase customer loyalty. So the cafe team gets together and they brainstorm three potential solutions. First idea, a simple digital punch card app to replace those little paper ones that always get lost. Second idea, a little more ambitious, a paid subscription for, say, unlimited coffee every month. And the third idea is more community-focused, hosting evening events like poetry nights or board game meetups. So three very different ideas on the table.
All right, now it's time for the scoring. And the system is super simple. You just rate each idea on a scale from 1 to 5 for desirability, viability, and feasibility. A 5 means it's a very strong fit. It's a slam dunk. A 1, on the other hand, means it's a very weak fit or there's a major problem. What's great about this simple scale is that it forces you to make a clear judgment call for each of those three lenses.
Okay, so let's start with desirability for our cafe's ideas. How much do people actually want this stuff? Well, the evening community events, those might score really high. People are often looking for connection. A digital app is probably pretty desirable too, right? It's convenient, but the coffee subscription? Maybe less so. For some people, that might feel like too big of a commitment. Okay, now let's switch hats and look through the viability lens, the business side of things. That coffee subscription, wow, that could be a huge moneymaker, right? Predictable, recurring revenue every month. The app, it has a pretty clear path to driving repeat business, which is great. But what about the events? I mean, they might be fantastic for the brand, but they could also be expensive and maybe not directly bring in a lot of profit. And now for that reality check.
Feasibility. Can the cafe actually pull this off? Building a custom app from scratch, that's really hard, but using a pre-built service could make it super feasible. Hosting events? Well, that means staff have to work late, which could get tricky. And that subscription service? Oh man, managing it, tracking usage, that might need new software, new training, which could be pretty complex for a small coffee shop.
All right, the scoring is done. We've thought through each idea from the human, the business, and the technical point of view. Now for the fun part. Let's tally up the scores and see if we have a winner.
And look, the math here could not be simpler. You just add the 3 scores together to get your total score. That's it. The idea with the highest score is the one with the most balanced potential for success.
So, for our little cafe, the results are in. The digital app gets a really strong score of 13. The community events come in next with a solid 11, and the subscription idea lands at 10. Just based on that total score, the path forward is starting to look pretty clear.
And you can see it laid out so clearly here. The visual just makes it obvious, doesn't it? The digital app is the clear front-runner. It's a strong, well-balanced idea that really hits that sweet spot between what customers want, what the business needs, and what the team can actually deliver. But wait, there's one more really crucial thing we need to talk about. And this is the crucial point, so listen up. The total score isn't everything. Take a look at that subscription idea. Yeah, it had a respectable total of 10, but its feasibility score was only a 2, a weak score. And that, my friends, is a massive red flag. A single, fatally low score in any category can completely kill an otherwise good-looking idea. This rule is what saves you from chasing an idea that has a hidden critical flaw.
So why does this framework work so well? What's the magic here? It's because it's so much more than just a scoring sheet. It's a powerful way to structure your thinking, to have better, more productive conversations, and in the end, to make smarter, more confident decisions as a team.
When you really think about it, the benefits are huge. It takes a lot of the emotion and personal bias out of the decision, right? It makes the whole process more rational and transparent. You can actually stand up and defend your choice because you've got the data to back it up. It helps you spot those fatal flaws super early. And maybe the best part? It gets the entire team on the same page, aligned, and moving forward together.
So there you have it. That's the DFF framework in a nutshell. It's a simple but really powerful tool to bring some much-needed clarity to your most complex decisions. Now, I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. Look at your team's current project list, or that whiteboard that's full of amazing ideas. Which one of them? Which one would truly survive the DFF test? Thanks for joining me.